I have to admit, Wolverine has never been one of my all-time favorite characters. I know he's quite popular with the fans, but I don't know. I've kind of discovered him late, to be honest. When I was like in my early teens, I discovered him in the crossover contest of champions, where he was trying to, well, he was fighting Black Panther, and he was a little too aggressive, let's just say, in the fight for Black Panther's taste. And I thought he was interesting, but that was kind of it. And then noticed him kind of in an X-Men issue, and then, I don't know, didn't really discover him until later on in my late teens or early 20s, really, during the Chris Claremont, Jim Lee days. And thought he's an interesting guy. So, yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of him, but you know what, I do enjoy a specific version of the character. And that's the kind of cool, smooth, kind of cigar-chomping, easygoing kind of Wolverine, the kind that kind of steps into a scene, doesn't really maybe talk too much, but he's one step ahead of everybody else in the room, even those who are more powerful than him. And that's pretty much the way Hugh Jackman's been playing him for 4 movies now. And this is, of course, X-Men Origins Wolverine, which I think is the first in a series they've been planning. They've also been thinking about doing an X-Men Origins Magneto, which would be really interesting. Really would enjoy seeing that as well. But here we are, and what they do is they use little tidbits here and there from his past comic book works. The first 5 minutes before the credit sequence uses a bit from the graphic novel, or miniseries I should say, Wolverine Origin, where his father is killed by his real father. And we discover that him and Sabretooth are brothers and stuff like that, or half-brothers, which is a kind of theme going on in Marvel. Thor and Loki, blah, blah, blah. But, let's see, there's a terrific opening sequence where we watch them as half-brothers fighting in every war pretty much up until Vietnam. And that's where our story picks up, where the government knows that they're mutants and puts them on a special team. And this team is doing a lot of wet works and secret shit that, you know, Wolverine eventually just gets a huge distaste for and just walks away. A few years later, everybody starts coming for him because he's needed. And let's see, this uses the bone claw thing, where I think it was a few years ago where we discovered that his claws are actually a natural mutation in him. Excuse me. And the adamantium claws are just covering up that instead of an addition, which they were originally thought for years. And let's see, it works pretty well. The Weapon X sequence is a little skimmed through. It's not, you know, it's not very thick. It's not the whole film, for instance. If you're looking for that to be the whole film, you're going to be a little disappointed, I have to admit. Essentially, the relationship between him and his half-brother Sabretooth is realized here. Now, of course, you may remember Taylor Mane played him in the first X-Men movie, with kind of the classic Sabretooth look, the long hair. He's big as hell, and you know, roars a lot. But in this new film, Liv Schreiber plays him, and I'll be honest, I was a little skeptical. I wasn't sure about this, but I have to say I really do like his more intelligent, real menacing, kind of sinister, but still kind of human version of Sabretooth, and I actually like this portrayal quite a bit. Matter of fact, I could see him and the comedian being buddies on some other secret government team. They seem to have that kind of vibe. Also, of course, there's other characters. Ryan Reynolds, who I've not always been a big fan of his comedies, but you know, he's not a bad action guy. He's a pretty good performance in his very short bit as Deadpool. Let's see, whom else am I forgetting? I think, oh yeah, Hugh Jackman, of course, does another good performance as Logan, Wolverine, James Howell. He's got quite a few names for such a loner. And I guess my only concern about the film is the character seems to still be lightened up a little bit. He's not as mean and savage as he could be. Let's see, but I think I think it's pretty solid, characterization. Sometimes I do wish maybe they'd go a little bit darker with the character, but that's what you get. Now, Gavin Hood, excuse me. Gavin Hood is the director of the film. I have never heard of Gavin Hood, and matter of fact, I just fucked up his name because I'm not familiar with him at all. He has done very little film work, which I guess was one of the concerns I had. I thought he was just another director for hire, which probably is, but he does a fairly decent job here. He's granted not the artist that Bryan Singer is, but he's a lot better than Brett Rayner. It has quite a bit of... It reminds me a little bit of the original X-Men movie, where they were still kind of settling in to the franchise and kind of getting things established. But this one is a little more fast-paced and a little more action-packed. It's unfortunately a little more superficial than, let's say, Iron Man or Dark Knight, but it's nowhere near as bad as, quite a few comic book films, and I think we all know those. I would probably... I have a pretty mixed review here. I've been kind of jiving back and forth from 3 Ram chips to 4 Ram chips, but I'm going to give it a 4 Ram chip review. It's not bad. I enjoyed it for the most part. The closing credit sequences are, of course, there. Now it's a Marvel staple. One is lame, and the other one is okay. So, might as well just stay and watch them anyway, but don't wait for Samuel Jackson to show up and say something cool. It ain't happening. But I think that's about it, and I have one minor announcement. I have good news, everyone. I have hit 100 subscribers, and to celebrate, I'm going to do my incredibly huge question and answer video for Ask the Real Manos. Now, I'll probably break it up into maybe 4 or 5 parts or something like that. I'm just going to shoot it, and then we'll worry about, posting it afterwards. So, I want to thank all of you who've left your questions, and you can still leave your questions on the Ask the Real Manos video, and I'll get to answering them as best as I can. Anyway, until then, push the button, Lindsay.